The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available in print and ebook formats on Amazon.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios and sponsored by international award-winning author Mia Mosinzia of Missing. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on over 40 podcast platforms, as well as hamiltonradio.net, Diamonds FM, and the mikewagnershow.com. We can be heard in over 100 countries, featuring over 1,000 well-known and amazing guests throughout the globe. And named one of the top 100 global podcasts in the New York Weekly Times, Hollywood Entertainment News, Los Angeles Weekly Times, Apple, and Chartable. So sit back and relax and enjoy another great episode of the award-winning Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Like a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international award-winning author Mia Mosinzia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Mosinzia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Mosinzia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes, Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. 4 Goes Missing by Mia Mosinzia, available on Amazon. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 100 countries, including Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartradio. Also, Anchor FM, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Audible, Apple Music, and more. Also heard on hamiltonradio.net, Oldies Radio, Diamond FM, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. T-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, baseball gear, and more. Makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com and check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Mosinzia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles. Also T-shirts, pop sockets, hoodies, phone cases, a lot of cool merchandise. Amazon.com/Mia Mosinzia. Check it out today. I'll support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewagnershow.com. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at the Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with the amazing award-winning actress, acting teacher, and director who was born and raised in New Mexico and in Los Angeles. And she's somewhere out in the wild, wild west. And she was the 2020 recipient of the Bronze Best Director and Best Web TV Pilot Award for the Palm City Film Fest, and for narrative director debut with Deeply Superficial. We'll talk about that. And she has a new documentary out, which is first inspired by a conversation with a former governor of San Ildefonso, Pueblo, about the language being a thing, which is a living thing that can thrive or die and lead to catastrophic events for Native American cultures. And of course, we'll speak for many of those as well, too. And this documentary aims to inspire and educate the people in all backgrounds, and also the importance of preserving the language and traditions of a culture. And she has also been in other movies like The Cellar Door, Brain Dead, Undercurrent, Officer Down, and more. Live, ladies and gentlemen, from Plus Studios, somewhere out in the wild, wild west. And she's always on the edge. Ladies and gentlemen, the multi-talented, award-winning actress, acting teacher, and director, Michelle Tomlinson. Michelle, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. You make me sound so much cooler than I am. And I am always living on the edge, Mike. I got to say, it is.
Well, I got to say this, after, reading about your documentary as well, too, this puts me on the edge. And also, we'd love to hear more about it. You're an award-winning actress and acting teacher and director, born in New Mexico. And You're in Los Angeles as well, living in the Wild Wild West. You're the 2020 recipient of the Bronze Best Director and Best Web TV Pilot Award for the Palm City Film Fest. And you also have some movies out there called The Cellar Door, Brain Dead, Undercurrent, Officer Down, Kung Fu Femmes, and Rise of the Millennial. And you also direct a couple of movies, and also you've been in a narrative. We'll talk about that. And before we talk about Edge and more, tell us how you first got started.
I first got started when I was in high school. Well, theater, when I was 6, I was a dancing tree in Snow White. And then in high school, I know it was my big stage premiere, stage debut. And and when I was in high school, there was an amazing video productions class and entire community. And this woman named Leslie Duran was in charge of all of it. And this woman was amazing because she really encouraged all of us to, as we would call it now, create content, use our own voices to create content. And it usually took form of different news articles, or we would make music videos and just all kinds of different things that would get me behind the camera, where I learned how to tell a story, shoot the story, edit the story, and kind of glue the whole thing together in order to present it to other people. When I got to college at Eastern New Mexico University of Portales, the theater department spoke to me much more than the communications department did, which was a surprise. I was expecting to go into communications. My whole path I thought was going to be journalism. And I really had this, burning desire to tell the truth, to always try to figure out what the truth is behind each story. And then I got into theater with a couple of classes. I thought, this will be an easy A, beginning acting class, and a theatrical makeup class. And it was somewhere between reading some of my first plays ever and putting a mustache on me, with spirit gum and all these weird little hairs and things. Somewhere between all of that, I all of a sudden was like, this is home. This is the thing. And that's what I wound up getting my degree in, was a BFA in theater performance down at ENMU. And so I had this concoction of a video productions background mixed with acting. And then when I first got to LA, it was acting, tons of it. Did a million different day jobs that included working at post-production sound facilities, casting assistant, teaching assistant. I sank into everything, production assistant, because I knew from the get-go that I wanted to experience the entirety that our industry has to offer us. I knew that I just had this voracious appetite to learn everything as much as possible about all of it, because I had a feeling that I tried to fight for a long time, but I had a feeling I was going to end up being a filmmaker. It was just always a strange inkling. And so I took all these different jobs to learn as much as possible about what that would even look like. And here we are, doing all the things.
And that's amazing as well, too. You learned everything all in that span of time as well, too. And sometimes I have trouble trying to cram it all in, which just overflows. But I mean, you just got amazing drive. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you're doing for the rest of your career?
Oh, James Mountain, I think, might have been that moment. I was on the phone, with my friend James, who was he is the former governor of San Ildefonso Pueblo. And we started talking. It was a script that I had an idea about that a friend of mine wrote. I sent it off to him to get his opinion because I trust him. And we started talking about how he was on a mission to save the Tewa language, San Ildefonso. And I was like, I don't understand what that means. Like, what do you mean save a language? And here I grew up in northern New Mexico, around plenty of pueblos. It was rich in culture, rich in human colors, and the fabric of life is where I grew up. And so I didn't grow up aware. I grew up inclusive, which is much different than growing up aware. And when he started talking about the dangers of losing languages for Native American cultures and how language can die, I was like, wait, what? English speaking people, white people of this country, and probably of the world, don't have a grasp on what that really means. I sure didn't. And that was the day that I think everything shifted so tremendously. I instantly was like, okay, this is really serious. And I want to do everything I can to help spread that awareness to anybody, to everybody, the importance of that. And my medium of art is film. And I said, dude, I think we need to make a documentary about this and try to turn that documentary into an educational and inspirational tool for other people to glean something from, if it's just support or just awareness, or, it's a call to action for everybody. And I got my friend, the amazing Lori Bowen, who's brilliant beyond measure, and to start co-producing it with me. And before you know it, we were starting to shoot and all these different interviews, which was really challenging because, here we are, my first documentary for sure. And here we are, these two white women going, we want to talk to you about preserving Native American language and culture. And we're dead serious about it. And, it was challenging to get that started because the Native American cultures, all of them, have been so severely ripped off and genocide. And, it was a tough moment. And James really helped open the doors, and we were able to shoot a lot at the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center in Albuquerque. And I was able to interview the CEO there, a guy named Mike Canfield. They just opened their doors so beautifully and so wonderfully, because the Cultural Center is a place for education and inspiration, so that people can go. It's a place for people to go to learn more about their own cultures, and for non-Indigenous folk to learn more about how to support Native cultures. And so getting to shoot there and getting to shoot some of the dances, we had these dancers from Owingeh Pueblo were there, and getting into all of the interviews, I learned so much, Mike, and I feel like I could fill the deepest canyon on the planet and take that earth all the way to the stars with what I feel like I still have to learn.
That's rather interesting. And you talked about, and what was that language you said that was in danger? Was it the Pueblo, or what was the name of that language? What was it?
All of them, all native languages, all of them across the board, across the world, across this country, all of them are in danger of dying. And the one I did mention was the Tewa language.
Yeah. What was it? The Tewa?
Tewa. Tewa.
Tewa language. Okay. Tewa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Tewa language. Yeah.
Okay. Because I was going to ask about that particular language with the Tewa. It's like, how many people are left that speak the Tewa language, and, what's causing to be extinction and everything like that. And how many people were around that time that was speaking the Tewa language?
When we started shooting this in 2018, at that time, in the San Ildefonso Pueblo, my understanding, and I could have it slightly off, my understanding is there may have been about a dozen or so elders left in that Pueblo.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Definite wow. And part, to be real honest, part of where the language, as I understand it, broke is with genocide when we got here. Mm-hmm. Not only was there the physical strikes and the killings and all of the things of invasion, basically, lack of a better term, definitely an invasion, but the children were taken from their homes. Grown-ups were beaten and murdered for how they lived, for how they ate, for how they did anything. And of course, when you have a child, you want your child to have whatever kind of life that is better than what you had, right? On some respect or another. And so you have all of these Native Americans choosing to protect their children to not have it as bad as they did. So naturally, one of those things they're not going to do is to teach that language. Not all, obviously, but a lot, right? Is one of the things that I learned in interviewing people for the documentary is if you were to think about, Mike, for even a second, what it would look like just to get beat for how you ate food, for saying a word that wasn't, proper, quote unquote, that wasn't in English, for getting beat, for trying to stay true to who you are on any level. And that's, from what I understand and from what I've learned in making the movie, that's ground zero, dude, where it all just broke.
Right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense too. And it's really sad about that. And besides the Tewa language, what are some of the other languages that still exist? And what are some of the ones that are on the verge of extinction?
They're all on the verge of extinction.
Is there a particular one? You mentioned the Tewa. Is there like a branch or a sub branch or anything like that?
I can't even think of all the languages near extinction right now, because it's just been so all consuming to recognize that all of them are. There's the Keres language, and there's a great which is I cannot place the Pueblo, forgive me. There's a Montessori school, though, that has been started that teaches Keres language. The Zuni Pueblo, they teach Zuni in the schools. And, as a gentleman that I interviewed from Zuni pointed out, he said, he was a teacher for a while. And part of what that struggle looks like was, okay, well, the kids are learning, Zuni, for example, as he was saying in the documentary, that they were learning that in school, but not being spoken as much at home. Because, it's been whitewashed to say, like, you have to speak English and that's the only language. If you're going to be accepted by this society, you have to speak English. You have to assimilate. You have to cut your hair. You have to dismiss any of your cultural doings. You have to dismiss everything that matters to you and that mattered to your ancestors. You have to dismiss all of that and assimilate to how Western Europeans have decided that we all have to live. So, you have, a couple hundred years of that being driven down your face. That's going to create some pretty serious scars.
And the reason why I mentioned about the different types of languages is because this one particular group came to mind. If it's a Pueblo or whatever it is, it's an offshoot of Zuni or whatever it is. I remember there was a group of Native Americans that were using a code. I think it was in World War II.
Navajo.
Yeah, that was it. The Navajo. Yeah, and I was thinking of that. And I was just thinking they use it for good because, nobody else knew the Navajo but themselves. And they use that code to communicate with the Allies. And that's how they helped us win the World War as well. So I was thinking along those lines. It's like, they use the Navajo and also the Tewa, the Zuni, and everything else. Like, some of the benefits of it too. The Navajo use that language to help defeat the Japanese in World War II.
Yes, they sure did. And crazily enough, I don't think any of those code talkers were actually honored well enough from my point of view. And they went in and saved it. And the Navajo Nation, my sister is also Navajo. The Navajo Nation has a very big piece of my heart. And the Navajo language is just as sacred and just as at any kind of risk for extinction as anything else.
And of course,
amazingly enough, the code talkers, for crying out loud, right? Like, you would think that would have inspired this society to go, oh my God, we should be heralding native speakers. We should be really supporting these cultures. Look what they did. Look what they, brought out. They helped us beat it, but that's just not how it rolled out, which is kind of amazing in a really horrible way.
Right. The only reason why I mentioned is because it was big all over the news where we're at. And I think one of them actually lived in the Dakotas as well, too. So that was brought about. And we'll talk more about the documentary Edge, about the languages and everything else and what can we do. And we'll talk about your amazing career. But first, you listen to The Mike Wagner Show at the mikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960 or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those you love will be the first to go missing. It's available on Amazon in paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has garnered great reviews and even loved and endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassidy, Forbes, Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today for Goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Also, check out The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com on over 40 podcast platforms, heard in over 100 countries. Take us with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com and check out The Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia for great books like Missing, Once, and Wrinkles, and great merchandise and more. Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Check it out today. Also support The Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, themikewagnershow.com. You can also buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com at The Mike Wagner Show. Make sure you do so today. We're here with the amazing award-winning actress, acting teacher, and director who was born in New Mexico and living in Los Angeles and out in the Wild Wild West. And she's got the new documentary Edge. Michelle Tomlinson here on the Mike Wagner Show. And before we continue talking about your amazing documentary and learning more about it, you've been in the business for quite some time. You were in The Cellar Door, Brain Dead, Undercurrent, Officer Down, and Kung Fu Femmes, and Rise of the Millennial. Before you get to your directing duties as well too, and tell us more about some of those productions as well too, and what inspired you.
Oh, I fell into horror. Like, it was so much fun. Oh my gosh. Horror films are such a blast to make. And I am a real big geek when it comes to practical effects, where you can see the thing happening and it's just really cool. And somebody actually just the other day reached out to me on Instagram asking me, how did you die in Brain Dead? Like, can you talk to me about some of the special effects that they used in that moment? Because I'm making a film and da-da-da-da. And I was so stoked that somebody reached out because, a lot of these films were ages ago at this point. And so it was really fun to revisit how I died in Brain Dead with slime and this special cap, and how, I got thrown in a fire, and the fire was literally just the lights, right? It's just the trick of the lights, going off and on and whatnot. And it was just a lot of fun. And I auditioned for things and I booked the things that I was meant to book. And I love making movies. Movies to me is kind of the closest thing to theater. Nothing against television. TV is great. And I love, doing web series and stuff like that. But there's just something about movies that really calls me in my whole being. I just love acting in them. I love directing them. I just love doing it.
That's very fun. That was very interesting. And who are some of your favorite actors, actresses growing up, along with some of the movies you enjoyed watching?
Oh, well, I'm kind of a nerd. I love Die Hard.
My favorite movie, Yippee-ki-yay!
Yippee-ki-yay! I mean, it's the best Christmas movie ever. And I grew up watching a lot of action films and a lot of war films and a lot of horror films. And so when I was a little kid, I loved things like Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger was amazing. And as I grew up a little bit more, I really fell in love with Angelina Jolie. Love her work, love her humanitarian work. I love that she is really a self-built woman and has worked really hard to get to where she is. And I love her work. And my daughter loves her work, so it's very cute. Very cute that my 6-year-old can also say that she enjoys Angelina Jolie. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, that's so amazing too. And of all the movies you've done too, what was the most favorite you've done and why?
Brain Dead was a blast. It was just silly, ridiculous fun. Kevin Tenney was the director for Brain Dead, and he's a brilliant, brilliant man. He came from the fame of Witchboard, and he's a gigantic smart aleck. And so the joke is that we would laugh all the time, and he and his wife actually are like family to me and have been since the movie. And we just had a lot of fun. I mean, we shot in a tented cabin. It was 105 degrees. Without the tented cabin. And so inside the cabin, it was somewhere around 115. So there were some really excruciating physical things to go through in making that film. And Kevin just had a way about him that made it fun. And, it was ironic. My boyfriend at the time, he and I both auditioned for the film, and we both just happened to book it. And so driving back and forth from set was, a breeze, because it was just a lot of fun. It was just really fun. There was a lot of laughter on a set that it was 9,000 degrees, and it was just a lot of laughter.
Yeah, that must have been hell itself too. That's a horror film, right? Too. It's like 9,000 degrees of hell.
9,000. Yeah. Totally.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a great idea for another movie too. And you can get some of the people on edge. It's like, this is what you did to us. 9,000 degrees on you.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
I know, I'm kidding, but you also directed the film called Redemption as well too, and you also were in a narrative in a podcast called Porque, Porque, and is that right? Porque or Porque? How?
It's actually called Porque.
Porque. Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah, it's the podcast. It's really so cool. This guy named James Charleston created this wonderful world that centered around the town of Porque and the Porque sheriff, and the original name of it was Frijoles de Arroz, but he had been an acting client of mine some years back, and he was like, listen, I'm going to create this podcast, and it's going to be fully narrative, and it was literally a throwback to radio storytelling back in the day on those serial Saturday nights or whatever they were called.
Oh, I remember those, yes.
Total throwback with the Foley, the sound effects and all the things happening, and so it was this really rich tapestry that I was able to be the casting director of all of these different characters woven together in this small town, and how this small town, fictional small town, dealt with politics and resistance and different forms of standing up for yourself with, I think it's nonviolent resistance, all the forms of nonviolent resistance, I think is the technical term. And it's kind of educational in a sense of, not to lose your cool if you're arguing with somebody over politics, for example. And it's just a really fun podcast. And it's really cool to listen to all the sound effects happen, because you can see it go down in your mind. So it was a lot of fun. And Redemption was something that James Charleston, again, he had this script. He is a man on a mission about ending sexual assault. And I can definitely get behind that. And that was part of what Porque was about, and definitely what Redemption was about. And Redemption was a script with 3 characters. We shot via Zoom. And one is like the therapist who tries to rehabilitate sex offenders. One is a sex offender who's like in prison in the clink for raping his wife. And the other is the bureaucrat, the guy who wants to throw away the key, lock him up, throw him away the key. And that's the only way to give rehabilitation to any of these offenders. And so it was actually really interesting, because Jake Red is this insanely gifted actor who played the sex offender. And, when you think about sex offender, you instantly want to get a lighter and some lighter fluid. You know what I mean? Like, you really want to torch the hell out of that. And Jake Red was able to hit this vulnerability with his character, where we get a real strong glimpse in his character's childhood, in the root. Yeah. Like the way he hit it was like, I mean, to this day, it still gives me goosebumps. To be able to bring any type of compassion to that type of character requires an insanely strong actor. And he did an amazing job. And you just, at the end of it, you're like, oh God, like, whew, it brings about some pretty heavy hitting questions that I think are important, you know, as a society. I think it's important to ask the hard questions.
It certainly made me think of that one movie. I was thinking of saying Silence of the Lambs, but I'm thinking it's somewhere along the lines of a famous movie, but it's right at the tip of my tongue, but I cannot think right now. It's like if it's Silence of the Lambs or something else. Like, it reminds me of one of the movies that I might have seen or heard about, you know, along those lines. It's like the tough questions, you know, the childhood, why they did that. It's like, it just made me think of it. It's like, what was it? Oh my gosh, I can't think right now.
It could be Silence of the Lambs, because I mean, you have to, even if you're a villain, you have to be able to evoke some sort of compassion from the audience. You know what I mean? Or otherwise you're just a dirty villain, and that's not interesting, and it's not really good storytelling, and it's also not three-dimensional. You know?
Well, we'll have to say the heck with Jack Nicholson. Johnny's back.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
I think that's something you portray him in the next one. Jack Nicholson. This is like, he'll really bring it out of you.
God, he's amazing. It's so funny though, you know, like 15 and 20-year-olds now go, oh, he's the guy at the Lakers games, right? And it's like, no, honey, he's Jack Nicholson. He's Jack. Like, he's not just a dude at a basketball game. You know?
Oh, too amazing as well, too. And of course, you mentioned something as well, too, being an acting coach as well, too. And, you know, tell us all about that. And how does one get to be an actor, and how do they inquire about getting your program?
I love it. I love teaching actors. I love being able to share a path that will help them find their way. Everybody's journey is totally different. And I love taking beginning actors and taking them all the way through. It doesn't matter where you are in the acting world, as far as at the very beginning or a seasoned actor. I love coaching for auditions is part of what I do, and also teaching them every step of the way. A lot of it is a lot of hand holding, which I really don't mind doing, because some of it is things I wish that I had this version of me when I first got to Los Angeles. And so as part of my mission is to be the best version possible to help lead you through the darkness, because it's such a weird journey when you come into the world of acting, because it's the amount of no that you get, the amount of misinformation, the amount of wrongful guidance is a real big thing that gets my skin jumping a little bit, because, you know, it's getting the headshots, it's getting the electronic package put together on Actors Access, it's understanding your essence and your type you know, via the essence that you have, and how to move forward through that, how to approach an audition, what to do when you actually book the job, how to behave on set, how do you show up prepared and ready for a table read when you do book the gig. I mean, there's so much into the world of acting that a lot of people, they see it on TV, and especially younger people, they see it on TV and go, oh, that looks so easy. If I just practice this scene or this monologue the way that Jack Nicholson did it in this movie, then I too can be the actor. And there is just so many layers of dedication, voracious hunger, and appetite for the industry that you have to have if you even want to think about moving forward in it. You know, I do have some group classes. You can always find me on michelletomlinson.net and contact me through that. I do a lot of private coaching, and I'm picking up in the more group class range via Zoom, and I'll have a live one in Albuquerque in June, just to better understand, how do I approach the audition and how do I book the job? What does this all mean? What does being in the business mean? You're literally the CEO of your own business the second you decide to become an actor. And I'm all about empowering each actor to be the best CEO they possibly can be. And information and guidance. And
what are some of the few tips you'd like to share with everyone? Like a few tips, tricks, and everything like that when it comes to acting, auditions, and headshots, everything like that. Just a few tips.
Know your essence. You know, for example, even though, you know, I'm a single mom, and I coached my daughter's soccer team, for example, last year, literally coached it. Most people would look at me, and, you know, I've got a lot of tattoos and all the things. I'm pretty edgy. And they go, oh, I would never cast her as that minivan mom, right? I wouldn't necessarily have the essence of somebody that you would think of, oh my God, we should call Michelle Tomlinson to play the soccer mom who wears her hair in a ponytail and does all this stuff. And I wouldn't be cast as that, even though in real life I'm exactly that, down to the crunchiness, right? So knowing your essence of how you're seen, what is the vibe that you give off? Do your headshots match your essence? Does what's on your resume match that? What's on your demo reel match that? You got to look at the whole package. And with auditions, the biggest thing to always remember is Mark Ruffalo had 600 no's.
Wow.
600. And you know who Mark Ruffalo is. I know who Mark Ruffalo is. He's always there, you know. Yeah, the great
Hulk
man.
smash for giving that answer.
Exactly. So, you know, we all know who Mark Ruffalo is because we all know, you know, he made to the A-list status, but the man had 600 non-booking auditions and didn't give up. So if you're in love, like if you're really like in love and you are in it to win it, there is just no option to give up. There's only to continue to grind and continue to put the work out there. And it's okay to get upset. It's okay to have emotional reactions to not booking this, that, or the other, but pick yourself back up, dust your ass off, and keep going. Like, that's it. That's the big, giant key to success in this industry.
Oh, that's certainly amazing and very, very inspiring as well, too. And of course, you know, I've been talking to some actors, acting coaches and everything else. And people often ask, what's the method of acting that you teach? The primary, or is there like a combination?
It is a combination. Absolutely. It's a combination between Stella Adler, which is my most favorite form of scene study. And then it's a combination of Stella Adler from Arthur Mendoza and my friend Amy Linden from her Linden technique. It is literally a combination of those two things that I love. I just love teaching. Yeah.
That's very interesting. And where can we find all your movies at? Where can we get more information? And how do we get into your academy? And also, especially with your documentary Edge, where can we find all that?
You can find all the things on IMDb, on michelletomlinson.net. My Instagram is, oh my God, what is my Instagram? I think it's _Michelle_Tomlinson, maybe. There's
we
always
can look it up.
fresh stuff on there. Yeah, you can look it up. Find me there. And Edge, we're going to be showing some of Edge at the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, actually the weekend of June 4th and 5th. Details to come on that.
We will certainly check that out. What's coming up for the amazing Michelle Tomlinson? We'll find out just 1 minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the mikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Also brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's The Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. We'll be back with award-winning actress, acting coach, and director, and also of Edge, Michelle Tomlinson, after this time.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. You know, it talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to the Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with award-winning actress, acting coach, and director Michelle Tomlinson here on the Mike Wagner Show. And, just a great conversation I had with you about Edge, and looking forward to seeing that. And what else can we expect from you in 2022 and beyond, Michelle?
I'm actually attached to direct 2 more feature films. One is called Portales, and we're actually going to be shooting that in Portales, at New Mexico, where I graduated college. And so it's really exciting to circle back around to that route and bring a film for the economy, for the local talent to work on, to get to act in, having auditions, all of the things. And another one is called The Penny, which will be shot around the Albuquerque area.
Wow.
Also. Yeah. So, busy. And I got my sweet darling child. So I'm a girl who's always in motion, which is great. I don't know. It's a blessed life.
And being on the edge as well, too. That's another great thing. Yes.
Yes, totally. Thank you so much.
And just a couple more things, Michelle. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Biggest influence in my that is a really good question. I guess my dad. He wasn't in the business at all. But my parents raised me to just walk in as much integrity as possible. And that's what I've always tried to do. And sometimes I've totally sucked at it, and sometimes I've been great at it. But I'm always trying my best to be better than I was yesterday, for example. And that's not just career, but that's life. So I would have to say, yeah, probably him.
That's really interesting. And I like that as what you said. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
If there is breath, there is hope. As long as you can draw an inhale, no matter what you're going through, there's hope of getting to the other side of it.
And that's certainly good advice as well, too. Once again, award-winning actress, acting coach, and director of Edge, and also a few others, Michelle Tomlinson here on the Mike Wagner Show. Michelle, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot from you. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love having you back. We wish you all the best. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase, check out your movies, and check out your acting coach services, and also check out Edge and more?
michelletomlinson.net would have pretty much all of that. So you just go to my actual site, and it will poke you around to all the places.
Okay, we'll certainly do that. Once again, Michelle, a very big thank you for your time. You've been totally amazing. Looking forward to having you again soon. Make sure you keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love having you back. We wish you all the best. And you've got definitely a great future ahead of you.
Thank you so much.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey everybody, my name is Forbes Riley, and I'm an American actress and a TV host. And I was delighted when I got my copy of Missing, which is Extraordinary Relation of Ordinary People based on a real life relationship. It's well written. It's amazing. It talks about a man who has lost his wife and his daughter, and it's very well done. I'm going to highly recommend that you go get your copy of Missing. It is a powerful, exciting read. Mr. Mian Moshe Zia. He is the author of Missing. And I want to give a big shout out and a kiss all the way halfway around the world to my dear friend. Check him out at Mia's website. It's called www.miamotionzea.com. Missing, available on Amazon. Again, I'm Forbes Riley, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show. Brought to you by international award-winning author Mia Mosin-Zia of Missing, and powered by Sonic Web Studios. Be sure to join us again on over 40 podcast platforms, and of course on the mikewagnershow.com, hamiltonradio.net, and Diamonds FM. Don't forget to support our program with a generous donation at themikewagnershow.com. Thanks for listening.